everyone. Today I have a project using the new Kat Scrappiness Rock Candy layered stamp set. So I'm starting off with a piece of full-size cardstock that I'm scoring down the middle at 5.5, and I want to create a circle-shaped card. So I'm going to fold the cardstock in half and place the largest circle from the never-ending circle dies over the top of the fold. And I'm just going to have the top of the circle hanging over the fold, and that's going to create the hinge for the card. So I'll just run that through my die cut machine, and you'll see it creates a nice shaped card without having to use any adhesive. So I'm just going to pop that out, and I have my card all set, and I'm ready to get started on my stamp placement. So before I do my stamps, I'm going to draw some lines down the diagonal of my card, and I'm doing these at 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to first do little dots just to kind of mark where I want to do my lines. And I'll be using a stamp platform and just running the rock candy stamps up and down the diagonal of the card. And these lines will help get everything perfectly straight, perfectly spaced. And you can erase the lines when you're done, and they all erase perfectly, so there's no need to worry about that. So next I'm ready to start stamping. So I'm going to start with the sticks of the rock candy, and I'm going to place those on the first pencil line that I have on my card. And I just kind of want to see how much room I have to put the pieces of candy, how many candies I can fit on each line. So I'm going to start off just placing the stick, and the stick is a two-layered stamp. So I'm going to stamp it first with a light tan colored ink, and then a darker kind of craft colored ink over the top layer. And then I'm going to take one of the rock candy stamps, this is the solid stamp, and I'm just going to place that along with another stick and see how that fits together on the line. And I really like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp another stick so I have everything placed perfectly. And then I will stamp my rock candy. In addition to having the stamp platform, I would totally recommend getting one of the Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. For stamping like this, where you're repeating over and over and using the same stamps, you want to be able to wipe off your stamp really easily and use a new color ink on it without having anything transfer. So definitely you can pick those up at the shop too, the Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. So next I'm stamping the layers of my rock candy, and for the first color I'm using a light pink, and then I'm going to use the next shade of pink. I'm going to go in rainbow order, so pink, orange, yellow, green. And I'm just placing the stamps one after another. If you set this up as an assembly line style, it goes very fast. It seems like it would be time consuming, but this really didn't take a lot of time. And I do edit out some of the stamping, but that's just because it just repeats over and over again. So once you get going and you place your stamp, you wipe it off, you put the ink, it's just over and over, and the lines completely help. So you know exactly where you're placing everything, so there's no guesswork. And I have to say too that these layered stamps line up so easily. You don't even have to look over and try to line everything up. You can see exactly where they're supposed to go. So it's very easy to do these kind of fun looking projects with the repeat stamping. So I'm going to do my second row, and I'm going to have the rock candy go in the opposite direction. So this is creating some movement, and I'm having the candy and the sticks kind of move on and off the card. And I'm just going to kind of place it and kind of make sure everything fits and there's like a good amount of spacing in between. And the stamps have the candy going in different directions, so I'm also mixing that up as well. So one line will be going one direction and one will be going in the other direction. And the magic of editing, I'm all finished. And I'm just finishing up with the last piece of green rock candy. When I did this card the first time, I had the rock candy going in the other direction. So I had the point facing up. So you want to make sure you have the point facing towards the stick, because if you look at any images of rock candy, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But I think I was thinking of popsicles or something. So I had put it, the rock candy kind of backwards. So, but I really like these bright colors, and I use just a variety of different colored inks. So whatever you have on hand, and you can see how pretty that looks. And I think I mentioned before, if you don't have four colors of four shades of a color of ink, you can just use your darkest shade of ink twice for that top layer, and that works perfectly fine. Now I just added a little bit of blue rock candy at the top because I felt like it needed just a little, like another stamped image at the top because there was too much white. And so I didn't even use the platform. I just kind of added a little bit of the blue, and it just shows the stamp continuing on. So for the sentiment, I'm using some more circles, and I'm backing some of the smaller circles from the Never Ending Circles die set against, or I'm putting a sentiment on top of a small circle, and then I'm backing that with a larger black circle. And this black just kind of pulls everything together and kind of grounds the card. It's always nice to add a little bit of black to a card. And I also put a couple of sequins on the main sentiment. A couple are overlapping, and then I'm going to add some more after I pop that sentiment circle up with foam tape. And I'm just tucking one of the sequins underneath the circle, and I'm going to scatter a few others around it. And I'm using rock candy sequins from the rock candy sequin mix, and I'm also using the merry-go-round sequins right here. And those have a little bit of texture on them. They're really pretty. And I'm using some micro glue dots to place my sequins. And I'm kind of putting them in a little bit of a triangle pattern. And I changed my mind on a couple of these sequins because I didn't want to have the same color sitting next to the same color of rock candy. So, but I did do it with the purple just because I like purple. So, but I think that amount of sequins looks good. And then just to add a little something else, I have a Spectrum Noir clear sparkle pen, and I'm just running that over each of the colors of the rock candy to give it kind of a clear sparkle. It looks really pretty up close. It's a little hard to see on camera, but in person it looks really good. So these pens are great. You can put them over anything, and it just gives a nice subtle shimmer. So there you go. You can kind of see it in the light, the shimmer and all the sequins and everything. So I think that turned out really good. And I was making the card, I didn't realize it actually looks like either a CD or a record, like an LP, and it says "You Rock" on the front. So it was kind of a fun surprise. I didn't even realize I was doing that. I must have been subconsciously thinking about records, and I made everything circles. But so I thought that was kind of fun. Anyway, I'm adding some more circles on the inside with another sentiment, and I just kind of did some rainbow pattern, and the card is finished. So I'll have all the products linked over at the Kat Scrappiness blog, and I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.